Well, hi everyone, and welcome to this new podcast that I have recently started with Erin Solis. And Erin has been on my show a couple of times, and she's a certified life coach, a spiritual growth coach, a spiritual guide. Say hi, Erin, to everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. So, yeah, it's going to be a teamwork thing. But we had started reading my Akashic records, which I knew nothing about until a couple years ago. And I was fascinated. Um, Erin, tell people how well you don't know me.
I I guess I would say I don't know you except when we first met. So we met, yeah, the first time we met, I just did an overview of the Akashic records, what they are. We kind of went from there. And then it was funny. I think we both had the same idea. Like, what if I did yours? And that was
Yeah,
it. So I know you mentioned you wrote a book, but I never looked at it. I just said, let's just do this. That's how I like to do it anyway, so I get it's the records coming through and any of the intuition coming through and not
yeah,
me thinking and filling in pieces. So we did that
it
and we had our results. And I guess you can fill in, how was that for you?
was amazing. And so we decided we were going to keep going. And I asked Erin, I said, let's do this as a separate podcast because I don't want it all mixed up with my other topics. So we will be coming up with a name soon, and it will be out there in a day or two. I'm very excited to see where this is going to go. All right, so this is my session with Erin. And Erin, you told me, like the first one, we went into how many past lives I had and what they were like and things like that. And then this one, I believe you said was going to be life situations. Remind me.
Yes. Yeah, so we can go kind of several different places here. The one I think I would like to do today is actually called life lessons. So there is
Okay,
life situations, and that's a little different. So for people
lessons. Good.
wondering what this is, essentially your Akashic records are really the map and the story of your soul and the energy. And if you want to think of it as your library, it's your library that you can check things into and check things out of. Really, you can get rid of things. So there's energy statements that get stuck in there over your lives, especially when they haven't been resolved. And those end up being situations that come back to you over and over and over. Now, when you are in fully alignment and the abundance part, the positive part of your alignment, the things that come into your life are just welcome. Why is that person always so lucky? Why does that all those good things happen to that person? Well, probably because they're living in quite in alignment. So most of us being people and being people in our other lives, our past iterations, bring a lot of that stuff we went through and maybe didn't deal with so well in other lives. So that's those energies that keep coming through too. And that's, why I think in this life I am grateful, although I have these times when I'm like, you know what? I have done this before many times and had to remember it again many times and go through this many times. So
Wow.
that was one of my realizations. I'm like, I have done this before. It's like Groundhog
Uh-huh.
Day, except I'm not the one remembering. I just have to
Gotcha.
keep going through it. So anyway, um, but I'm grateful to be here again and remember this again. And having met you. So we did your past life ones, which is a really important place to start, like your soul story, your divine gifts, what your kind of your soul blueprint is, and then the past situations and things that we can clear from there. So now that those are done,
What was my divine gift? Because I don't remember. I'm sure I could go watch the podcast.
yeah,
Um,
I have your notes. So you were primary um, sixth energy center, which is intuition, vision, and perceptions of truth. So divine truth, which is
oh,
not,
that's right. I'm a
yep, which is
speaker.
just being able in your third dimensional place, being
Uh,
really having clarity of vision, ability to perceive truth, a strong intuition, um, On the negative side, maybe overthinking, chronic overthinking, planning without action, overly detached. You become
Okay.
overly detached, and an impact of that can be difficulty in integrating tuition into your daily practices, into your practical life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's right.
your soul origin was actually of Polaris, which has the traits of being innovative, adaptable, and natural healer and a change maker. And what came up for you is change in family structure, and really looking at, what kind of making a difference in being the changer of how family structure looks in your life.
Wow. Great. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah. So, she did not know anything about me. She met me because of the podcast, and that's the part I want people to realize. She won't read my book until we're done with my records because she doesn't want to know all of anything. So, where are we going today? What are we going to talk? What are you going to tell
Well,
me?
yeah, so I did that whole background, but let's get into today. So I actually have two for you. One is the life situations, but I really wanted to do life lessons, which
Good.
definitely lead in, everything leads in. So the life situations, if anybody does that reading, is you send me stuff that's going on in your life. I have a cold and my car keeps breaking down and this person is yelling at me and whatever else is coming up and my job is annoying, anything that's coming up. And then I can energetically categorize those, figure out what the underlying statement is and why that's happening, and then we can clear those. But the life lessons, this is kind of more sort of bigger, like what are the main lessons that your soul wanted to bring into this life and the soul specialization. So you're reading, I was actually really excited after I got this one done and to come in because I don't know, I like this one. It resonated hard with me, just so I hope it does with you too, but I will share with you and see where we go. So the first thing,
Okay.
unless you have questions.
I'll stop you. Yeah, go ahead.
So the first thing is your soul specializations. And typically a soul comes in with 1 to 2 specializations. Now, what was interesting here is 5 came up.
Oh, my heavens.
Yes. And what that is going to mean is that you are very, very scattered, with scattered focus and not really able to prioritize at this time. So your soul is trying to do too many things. You have too many focuses being pulled in too many ways. And rather than figure out which way that you're going to focus on this, it's too much. And so that is definitely kind of scattered and keeping the energy scattered. So if you have, 100% of your energy going 5 different places, every place is getting 20% rather than one place getting 100%, so that you can really actually have that on your focus. So the 5 that came up for you were, where did you go? Well, over there. Transitions, neutrality, astrals, design systems, and exploration. So transitions have to do with navigating change and transformation, guidance, assisting others. That can also be transition between this life and, out of this, having experiences there and being someone that can help with that. Neutrality is the balance and detachment. So being objective and centered, an observer, being able to see things from multiple sides, really able to be that person that's kind of neutral in the middle and understand things from multiple angles. The astral.
Now, is this stuff you need to work on that I don't have that yet? Like, is this stuff that I need to learn how to do? Or do I already? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, these
Do I?
are what are considered your soul specializations right now, what it's working on, which should be kind of
And
the,
this works on it. Okay,
yeah.
that's what I mean. So I have to get better at these things. Got it.
Yes. And yeah, so it's the things that your soul is trying to specialize in. However, there's just too many. So, astrals
Yep.
being a natural talent in astral travel. And actually, we kind of talked about that in vivid dreaming, how you've been having
Mhm.
that. So, vivid dreams, bridging between the physical and astral, but that could turn into a struggle being disconnected with the physical realm.
Mhm.
Designing systems, which is systems and structures. So identifying efficiencies and frameworks, business systems even, but possibly being over focused on how structured something is in logic and can miss out on the fluidity of life.
Mhm.
That's something
Yeah.
that, and then finally exploration, which is really diving into the realm of discovery, learning, knowledge, thriving in growth and freedom, and then ventures into the unknown.
Okay.
So having so many of these and kind of trying to tap into all of those is meaning almost not tapping into any of them.
Exactly what's going on with me too. I mean, I have too many things going on, and that kind of fits because it's like I have to say to myself, "Oh well, I have to work on my website. I did work on that today, and I have marketing, and then I have to do this, and then there's a family situation, And I've been getting overwhelmed a lot more than usual. And it's exactly what you're saying. Pick one thing, right, and concentrate on it, and get yourself centered rather than trying to do too much. And I'm trying to do too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, of these, where could you go with this? Is it focusing on the system so that you have better systems in place?
Yeah.
Or is it focusing on the discovery and the exploration and building knowledge? Those are kind of the two
It's
that
the
come up.
systems. I already, I, it's funny because I'm focusing on the symptoms because systems with getting into programs that will help myself and my husband. So that's where I'm focused right now, finding that support,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So it's funny you said that because that's exactly where I am. Great.
Perfect.
No? Great. I mean, it sounds like I am where I am supposed to be, even though I'm a little overwhelmed with everything. I kind of know what I need to do. What you said is to like pick one thing and prioritize and get things lined up in a way. And maybe I have to put other things on the side for a while,
Mm-hmm.
right? Some way, yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. It's a priority thing. So if you had one or two specializations, those would be the things that you're like, yep, I just see that a lot in my life, and those are the focus. But being so all over the place is making it really difficult for you to align to any purpose.
Mm,
So
got it.
scattered, making it harder. There's too many aspects, and that can feel overwhelming and make you unsure what to do.
That is right.
Yeah. So questions, which one is most aligned? Which you just said, the designing systems. And
Yeah,
to take some of
do
these
it.
down, can any of them be combined? Can you take your design systems with neutrality?
Wow, the neutrality right now too. That's a big thing. Something that happened this month, no, March, mid-April, um, out of nowhere, and I can see where I have to step back and be more neutral about certain things with certain people. So that, I mean, I really believe that the universe is sending me the lessons that I need, even though they're not fun. They're not fun.
No. So,
No.
also here, so the next part of this is connecting. How connected are you to your higher self, consciously and subconsciously? And you are, well, they come with very specific percents, but 65% connected subconsciously, but only 37% connected consciously. So that can lead to not recognizing or not trusting your own intuition. It's a lack
That's
of
right.
awareness or a lack of trust of your intuition because you are far more connected subconsciously to your higher self than consciously.
Mm.
So, and that's the mindful decision making. So, if
So,
you're
what is
not,
the higher self? When you say the higher self,
Mhm.
explain to our audience that might not realize what do you mean by that?
So you're here, you have your thoughts, and then your higher self is essentially your connection to source. Like we often think of it as intuition. Some people might say talking to God, which, you know, however you
What,
want to see that, but there's something that comes to you or that you understand. You know, we all have that intuition. Now, whether or not we follow it or trust it or believe it or, you know, put thoughts in the way that suddenly say, no, that's not right, or I'm not going to do that. Um, that's
I
it.
like I like the phrase connection to source because that it does not matter what religion you are or anything. That's very generalized. There is a source. There's one source. Everyone is connected to it, no matter it has nothing to do with religion. And I have other people that support me and counsel me, and they said, I'm in my head too much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in my head too much, and that I should, when upset or worried or trying to figure something out, drop down into my heart and like meditate or just be mindful.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I think that's what you're saying. I'm not doing that as much as I should.
yeah. And so you're saying drop down into your heart, which is the same
Right.
as me to look to your higher self. Your higher self is going, that is that thinking here, not here, as they could say.
Your mind. Yeah. And I'm 37% of the time I'm doing that. But that 65 or whatever, that's what's getting me in trouble.
Yeah, well, yeah, the conscious connection, the 37%. So if you were more consciously connected, you would see yourself making more decisions that are really connected to that intuition and guiding you in the direction to go rather than the guiding in the direction of worry. So,
That is so helpful to me, Erin. You don't know how helpful that is to me because when presented with problems or some kind of a thing comes up, um, I want to fix it already. I want to figure out how to do it. Solution, go, do. And what you're saying is just the opposite, and it's exactly what I need to hear. Seriously. So if I
which
get nothing else out of this session, that I got. Absolutely.
let's, yeah, if we tie that back to, overreacting, overly detached, kind of comes
Yeah.
back to that. So, what can you do here? Well, it's going to be making those conscious decisions, being regularly grounding yourself so that the mindful decision making can happen. Yeah, so right now, active your intuition, I have notes all over the place. You're actively guided with your subconscious, but you're not fully recognizing it, so there's a lack of awareness or trust for that. So it's not consciously aligned,
Oh,
not consistently, so there's a lack of clarity and intuition and mental and emotional interference, which causes kind of the disconnection, and then overly influenced by the practice of healing came up too. So this is called spiritual bypass, and it is very
I
interesting.
see.
So this is when people get into a spiritual practice, and rather than tap into it as the healing and the alignment, they're using that spirituality of the practice to bypass all that and say, nope, I'm doing all the spiritual stuff without actually, you know, being, I guess I would say, radically honest with myself that I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
actually healing. But I'm doing all
Right.
this stuff. I'm going to the right places. I'm listening to the right things. And this could take the form in any religion. It could also be like you start meditating or you start, joining groups or
Mhm.
whatever, but rather than actually take that in, it's spiritually bypassing all that healing that you need to do. And so you're all the steps are happening, but it's
Yeah.
the truth is it's not there.
No, I'm not really looking into myself and what I need to. So I went to a workshop and uh, I said the feeling I wanted to work on was rage about a certain thing, but that's just it. It's the leader of the group, who is my minister, said, but you're focusing on the person and what they did, and that caused the rage. He said, I want you to take the person out of it, take the step away from the story and just go into the rage. And that's kind of what I hear you saying, right? Because otherwise you're in your mind. You're remembering what they did to you and everything. And he's saying, no, go walk away from that. Feel that feeling. How does it feel? Where do you feel it? And I was like, in my throat, and I'm nauseous.
Mm-hmm.
I think he said, third chakra. What chakra is your throat? I never remember. Well, anyway, he said, that's what's going on. And that's what I hear you saying. I'm doing meditation, I'm doing all these spiritual practices, but my mind is getting involved too much, right?
Yeah, engaging
So,
in practices that attempt to bypass the true self-awareness and healing.
yeah, just not letting me be and let the feelings flow through me instead of the thoughts. Go to the feelings. Oh,
Yeah,
yes, this is very good, very helpful.
because you got to connect to that spiritual connection from past
Yeah,
trauma or fear versus
yeah,
the steps. Yeah,
yeah.
and it's not easy. We want to
Oh,
protect ourselves. That can be very painful and hard.
I know, I know. Gosh, yeah. But I think it, I'm doing the work, and like I said, I cried more the last month than I cried in years because I always say, "Oh, I don't cry. I never cry. I never cry." But I'm getting in touch with these feelings that I've been still pushing away, and it's a good thing. Tears are good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. I feel tired afterwards, but it makes me know that I'm doing the work and I'm really uh, getting in touch with that instead of just telling the same story over and over again. Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
I have more for you too, which kind of leads right into that.
Oh, that's good.
Um, so with that, your two primary lessons that come up in the life. So there can be more lessons, more things can come up, but these are the two that came up. And the first one is your primary life lesson of peace, and I'll tell you more about that. And your second one was love. So your primary life lesson of peace is 41% complete, which means you are, yeah, 3/5, 2/5 the way of completing this one to really understanding the piece. And what's interesting is what you just said. This is coming up in your life area right now around health and well-being.
Hmm. Yes.
And there's statements that come up. So around idioms, but this one was every cloud has a silver lining. So really understanding the piece kind of in what's going on inside what's happening, which probably looks pretty cloudy, but
Oh,
finding
yeah.
that peace in that anyway.
Yeah. I'm right in a situation. Yep, exactly. I'm experiencing something right now. Absolutely.
So, yeah, being able to find positivity and resilience despite challenges. So, you're
Mm.
right in this life lesson right now.
Yep, I'm in it.
The second one being love, which is 73%
Well,
complete.
that's good.
And that is love. And it's in the life area right now of your physical surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
And teaching you about discernment and authenticity and what you value and what you allow into your life. And the statement that came up here is all that glitters is not gold.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. My therapist had just said to me last week, and she said it in different ways for a long time, but she said, you have to detach from dysfunctional people. That's, it's causing me problems. And she said, Marie, like so many people love you, family, friends, neighbors, your community, you're loved, your husband, but yet you let these dysfunctional people, throw you off course, right? And she's right. And this sounds to me like what you're saying. This is what I'm hearing.
mm-hmm.
Am I in the right ballpark? Like letting those people that either don't love me or don't know how to show love or have some kind of a problem that they throw it onto me. Sometimes people do that. It's not you, it's something else, but it comes out, it spills over you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's your
Yeah.
physical surroundings. Yeah. So what are
Yeah.
you putting in your life right now?
Exactly. And I know what I take out.
Oh, what's coming up for me is this love is around self-love and what you're going to tolerate in your physical environment.
Oh my gosh, oh gosh. I want to tell you, but I'm not supposed to tell you what's going on, right? But there's something, and it's big, and and I'm going through some feelings of betrayal. I was betrayed, and it's about handling where I am in life. I'm going to be 77 in October. My husband has Parkinson's, and looking for help and support from someone I trusted, and I got sandbagged. I felt taken advantage of. I felt they were taking control or trying to take control. And that's what I'm going through right now. And it's very painful. I can't say it was because it's still ongoing, but it's what I said to you before. I know it's not about me. It's about that person. It's just that whatever's going on in their life, they're so overwhelmed and they threw it at me. That happens, right? In life. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm in a situation that I'm working on, but I had prayer this morning with my prayer group, and we talked about it. So that's doing the right things, and I did meditation, you know. So I think I'm doing the right things. I want my percentage to go up.
Yep. And you said something.
Yeah.
So you probably never get to 100% of these. And, that's almost not the goal. It's like you keep getting better and you keep learning more, but just 73% means you have made quite a bit of strides in this area. And that might be what you're talking about, like just even recently, that just not allowing those things into your physical surrounding, into your life, and you're getting better at that. And that's why, it's like, yes, you're getting it now for your own self-love and for your own peace of mind, those things.
Yes, exactly. That you hit it right on the nose. That's what's going on, and that's what I'm working on. And when you're into, you said like this is real life, and people are not on the same vibration, or believe all the stuff we might believe in. So there are things I have to do, legally, financially, whatever I have to do, but I can't spend like the whole day worried about all that. I have to take that space to be mindful and quiet and be with myself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think being able to balance that out is definitely going to be important.
And years ago, I wouldn't be able to do that. Years ago, I was in a different place, and I would just, be focused on the problem and solving it and nothing else. So this is a big, big growth moment for me.
It's amazing.
It is amazing.
So,
yeah.
So that's kind of, and I get these like full body chills, and that's why I'm like, okay, truth.
I'm good.
Here.
I am at the same time. That's so funny.
Yeah, it comes from up all the way through my body, and that's my sign that like, yes, this is real. This is holding true. So that's
Yeah.
that's what happens when I do the reading and sort of the what do you call it, like this the standard reading. Like I go through my protocols and ask the questions and get those answers, and then I say, is there any other messages for Marie? And sometimes the answer is no, but this time it was yes. So
Ooh,
you got a big download here. So
my God.
we're putting on the glasses. So here's the other message that
Right.
came through, and this just free form. So it is.
Okay.
These are essentially your guides. Like, ooh, I got something. I got something. So Marie is struggling. She is resistant to leaning on her higher guidance for clarity. She is rooted in thinking and controlling versus seeing and knowing. She is focused on what she wants, but only through how she can get it via forcing it and not through how it is already showing up.
Oh my heavens.
Stay keen, grow aware of when your guides are providing hints, gifts, and evidence of clarity. Do not fight it to make sense or be more real or more evident. They can only show you what you are willing and able to see right now. They want you to know it is not too late. The abundance is coming if and when you are willing and able to be ready to see it beyond what you can readily control. You are still engaged in spiritual bypass, which is masking versus making. It's still more about controlling outcome than allowing it to unfold. Look for choices that create a sense of yes. It's not too late. The best is yet to come.
Wow. That blew me away. And I'll tell you what, anybody in my inner circle that knows what's going on, when they listen to this, it's going to blow them away because that is true. That is so true. Yeah. And I wrote some of it down because we'll have a transcript, but wow.
Yeah. So that is the message that came through for you.
I feel like I have some spiritual guides that really love me and are with me and have been with me since before I was even born. I just feel that. Because of, and someday when you do read the book, you'll understand better why I'm saying this. But the things in my life that it would have broken someone, broken them, and made them just give up on doing anything. I think I had spirit guides all along that gave me what I needed at that time. You know, like resilience, walking away from a situation, that kind of thing, and the self love, which is, I think, very hard sometimes when you're going through traumatic experiences,
Mm-hmm.
you know, especially relationships. That's tough, especially when you're younger. You know, it's not him, it's me. No, it's me. No, it's him. It's all about me. But you kind of like take what the man is saying about you to be true.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had that happen a lot in my early younger days. You know, men trying to control me or change how I looked or acted, and I would go along with it for a while, but then I think they all have a job, and the one that has the job to nudge me, nudge me, and then I would move out of that situation. That's how I feel.
Perfect. Yeah,
Yeah,
I had to go back on your notes. You have 5 guides.
I
And
have
you
5 guys.
yeah, yep. And you had 2 that were negative guides.
Ooh,
Yeah, those ones we let go, but those were still kind of holding on. One was around blame at the first chakra, which is around family and connection to society, I guess, and friendships. And the second one was around suffering at the fourth chakra.
Yeah.
Which is 1, 2, 3, 4. Voice and communication.
Yeah. Yes. And all last year I was losing my voice. And I had to go to speech therapy, and I worked on that, and it's better. It's better. And what are the positive guides? Too
Well,
negative.
funny enough, you should say that. I haven't done your spirit guide reading yet, so that could actually be the next one.
Oh, so I have 5, right?
Yep.
But you didn't do the actual work to see go into it yet. That'd be great. So we're gonna talk about the good guys.
Yes. Yes.
Good guides.
Those guides come through. Sometimes they get names.
No.
Sometimes they get forms. Sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes they look like things. Sometimes when I do them, I'm like, it's just a big square. Like,
Yeah.
that's all I get. But that's, yeah.
To do this work is something I think that you have to be like born to do. I think it's like more than a calling, even because you have to feel energies that most people don't even try to feel. They don't take the time to do that, right? And you have to nurture your own life, because you're feeling a lot of feelings. You're an empath, basically. So, how do you take care of yourself?
Me,
Like, what do you reading or something?
yeah. So I feel really energized by readings, but I do. So when you're done with it, you kind of have to like brush it out and cut the connection and make sure you're not staying connected to the other person. But for me too, getting out in nature and really afterwards grounding, like shoes off, feet on the
Yeah,
ground, as the kids say, like, what do they say? Touch grass.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
need to be able to feel that and
Yeah,
see.
I think that's practice. Well, I knew you had to do something because this is such a powerful gift that you have, you know, that you don't want it to devour you because you're helping other people, but you have to have your own peace,
Mhm.
in your life. And you seem very joyful always when I see you, you know. Well, this was a lot. This is pretty good, right? So the next one, you said we are going to talk about more about spirit guides.
Yeah, we could do guides next, definitely. We can also go into the situations. We might want to redo this one because you probably have new situations than when I got this from you. Probably a while ago.
Probably, yeah. Situation changed in the last 3 weeks.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when I had
So,
done this one, I reached out to you the next day and said, "Was something going on yesterday?" And actually, it was.
yeah, it was the preliminary.
Yeah, so I was like, there was just something blocked about it. It
You
wasn't right. Everything, it was like,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, and you were right. Yeah, you're right. And my intuition, I absolutely ignored it because I let myself get overwhelmed and I did not do any self love practice or anything that was helpful. So I kind of, but that's okay because I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to learn, you know. I act too fast, Aaron. I'm impulsive. I'm impulsive and I have to work on that.
And I got to
So
backtrack before someone puts a comment. So your fourth chakra is your heart. I counted too much. Your fifth chakra
okay.
is, so fourth chakra is your heart around relationships and with others too. So
Well, I have a lot of good reasons for that. And when you read the book, you'll see. Yeah, I say in the book that my heart became ice. It was surrounded by ice, so it took years to melt that ice. and I still feel some ice. I still feel like I'm not like always letting somebody in.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Suffering.
Well, I can't wait till we do the next one. This was great. Yeah. All
Yeah.
right.
You
So,
were very
well,
open for this one. So there was a lot of messages coming through.
yeah, I had a lot out of it. So, couple weeks maybe.
Mhm.
Need a couple weeks to kind of get some new thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Well, I'm going to sign off. And wow, I just really enjoyed this. And we're going to have another one in a couple weeks. But the first three are going to be launched in the next couple of days. So I will send, and you do it too. I'm going to send all my followers the name of our podcast and where you can find it. And I think it's going to be grand. You want to say anything before we sign off?
Uh, no, just this has been fun. So can't wait to see what your guides show.
Okay. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.